So we got we got one coat on these doors. They still need a little bit more prep work, and then that's gonna be done once they're hung, but we're gonna get to hanging all these doors on the bottom here. And then the only thing we've got left after that is we've got to lower that desk portion right there. We're gonna lower it down to 30 inches, put a keyboard slide in it. And then we've got a bunch of shelves to make, which won't take any time at all. But just a little sneak peek. We're gonna come up here and make sure these things are gonna work, but that's what we're gonna be looking like. It's gonna look pretty sharp. Here we go. Hey, what's up, guys? So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be working on lowering this desk height. And it's not something that I'm really looking forward to doing. We just built this, and it was an afterthought of the owner. He didn't think about the height on the desk, and I assumed that he was going to be using an elevated chair. It was just missed. So we're gonna go back and cut this thing out and lower it down from 36 inches to 30 inches. And I'll go over that here in just a minute and show you what we're gonna be doing. It's gonna be a little tricky because of the way I built this, but it's not gonna be that bad. So here we go. All right, so here, let me get you a big view. Here's what we're gonna be taking out, and it's fine. I don't really like that miter joint right in the middle of that desk anyway. It's not holding together good. So this will allow us to put a solid piece across the front when we lower it, which we're gonna lower it down about 6 inches here or so. And the trick is gonna be cutting this back through here because these uprights sit directly on top of this, and they actually overhang it because they're double thickness. Those are 1.5 inches thick. They're 2 pieces of plywood. So I think that's birch. I couldn't tell you for sure, maybe poplar. But we sandwiched them back to back. And the reason why we did that is because when we routed these bracket grooves into this, if we would have not doubled them up, those are 1/4 inch deep, I think. And if we would have not doubled that up, then we wouldn't have had, by the time we routed both sides, we would have had almost, see, because both sides of all these are routed for different size shelving. So we would have had no material really left. It would have been 1/4 inch material in between those routed grooves. So we opted to double them up. And here's the issue with that. We got this seam in this runs right dead in the middle, right? So you're gonna have a 3/4 inch piece of plywood hanging over that on this side. And we're gonna have to play around with this to see how that's gonna turn out when we take this desk, because we're gonna cut this from the bottom. I'm gonna cut this down here. We're gonna take a vibratory tool and just run right along that cabinet and cut that out. I thought I'd put a support piece back there, but I guess I didn't. Either that or somebody removed it. And we're gonna do the same thing on this side. We're just gonna see what happens. We may end up having to repair some stuff. And we're just gonna do the same thing here. And you note, this thing, this is just a first coat on this thing. This is where some of the paint stuck to the plastic. All this has to be sanded back down a little bit better and finaled out. So don't pay a whole lot of attention to that. All right, so we were trying to cut this with this from the bottom just to try to avoid major catastrophe and maybe to save this piece in the middle. But we're just not gonna be able to save that piece, sadly. So I'm just gonna cut this in half, straight in the middle, and then we're just gonna jerk that piece out, and then we'll take these pieces out and put another piece back in there to replace that little piece that we were trying to save there. right, so we got that out of there, and I'll explain a couple things here why I'm doing some things a certain way. Like I said, this top set over top of this side by 3/4 of an inch on both sides. And you notice we tore it up a little bit. We'll have to fix that, along with the drywall in the back. And what I'm planning on doing, the reason why I cut these separately and left them hanging over, is we're just gonna try to fill this in right here, out to this edge. And then we're gonna take a piece of this, what I call bed molding. You all might have a different name for it. We're gonna take this piece of bed molding then and put on the top of it. And you notice that it'll work just right there. And we're probably gonna be filling these just to keep this thing from looking wonky. But I have a feeling we'll just fill these up from this big shelf here all the way down to here. So that'll be nice and smooth in there. And that's it, I guess. So we need to get us a piece of a piece of plywood, 3/4 of an inch thick, about whatever this is. I'll have to measure it on both sides, and then we'll have to make a material run to get this piece for the desk. This piece right here for the desk center. Basically, we did this so we could lower this desktop portion down from here down 6 inches, where it'll be comfortable to sit in a regular office chair in it. So basically that's just gonna come over, make a drop 6 inches all the way across, and then just come back up, and then we're gonna put a keyboard tray under it. So that's the deal. All right, guys. So here's what we're gonna do. We've got, I don't know if you can see me or not. What's up? I'm pretty sure you can see this. I checked it a minute ago. This is the, thought something was gonna get me. This is the bottom of our 3/4 inch top. This line going across there, I don't know if you can see it or not. But we're gonna put a cleat across the back, all the way across the back. Then 2 smaller cleats across these sides, and then a flat across the top, and then we'll have to put a face on this out of this bed molding here is what we're planning on doing. So we're gonna get after it here. This is just a 3.5 inch piece of 1x that I'm using here. You can buy this stuff already ripped at Lowe's. Pretty cheap. I think it's $5 for an 8-foot length. All right, so what we're gonna do is this is going to lay in here flat, and these are going to be nailed to it before we put it in. on either side, like so. Be one over here and one over there, like that. Then we're gonna take the whole thing, put it in there and nail it up. And the reason why we're doing that is, this needs a little bit more support nailing wise. So we're gonna use a longer nail and a bigger nail gun to attach this to these. But then we have to use a smaller nail gun to go through the side cabinet, because otherwise it'll penetrate completely into the cabinet box, and we don't want that. So, just watch. So you see what I made there, and then this entire assembly, if I measured right, will slide right in here, just like so. And we'll put it up on our line and check it for level, and make sure we're in good shape still. And I like it. So now we're going to switch over to our smaller gun and nail that into the side. So that is at 28 3/4 off the floor. Customer wants 29.5 to the top of this desk, so that puts us dead perfect. So I'll have to look and see what we need on the keyboard here. And what we're going to do here is rip a small piece of this material here down to this width roughly, and apply it on the face here, unless I decide differently, which I don't think I'm going to. So I think that's exactly what we're going to do. To face that out. So we need to rip one down. That is, let's put the math on this thing. That is 41 and 13/16. 41 and 13/16 by 1.5. All right. So you can see how we did all that. And we've got our top here. We're gonna go ahead and slide it in. Make sure we're gonna fit. And that looks pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and tack this down. And next step will be to get our boom holes on the front of it to match everything out. Now what we're going to do is put the bed mold across here, and what we're going to do is do a double return on it, which means it's going to, because it's flush with the face of these cabinets, so we can't just butt end it. So what we're going to do is run it out and past where we're at there. So we want to be, what about, we want to be 5/8 on either side. So we're going to end up, we got 41 3/4, so 42 and a half should be it. All right. Come on. 41 3/4 plus 1 1/4 inches. That'd be 43. 43 and 2 returns. We're gonna do that now. There we go. And now all we've got to do is we're going to clean up here, and so we don't scratch the floor or anything with any of this little debris. And then we got to smooth everything out, caulk everything in, and that is ready for paint. And there you go. So you can see what I'm talking about on the returns. We got a little bit of prep work still left to do, but you get it. Here's our return right here I was talking about to dye that back into there. We've got all these edges prepped up. They still need to be sanded, but you know, everything's caulked and prepped in. There's not a whole lot of sanding and prep work to do. Nothing that the painter can't handle. So our next step here, we got to patch that drywall across the back there. And I don't have any drywall here to do that. So we're not going to do that today. And we have we got to build a shelf, a pull-out shelf for a computer tray right there for like a keyboard tray. We're going to try to do it the full width. Kind of like that idea, but we'll see how it works out. I got to get some tracks for that. So we're not going to be doing that today either. So the next thing we're going to do in here is to run this toe shoe around the cabinets and the side over here and get that taken care of and knocked out. One less thing. And then the only thing we'll have left after that is that keyboard tray and all the shelving. And we're 100% on this thing, besides the painting, of course. So that's where we're at on it. Hope you guys enjoyed this.